Hello, World Civ 106 Section 0009 class. And I want to welcome you to week 10. I know that a lot of us have been very busy, including myself. And I also realize that still it's super hard for a lot of you to get back into the groove with this class. I'm seeing some of you coming in with some late work, which I'm really happy with. Right now, because of the nature of the kind of chaos and the transition that you all had to go through, I'm giving full credit for late work. So please take advantage of that. But just remember, I can't take in a bunch of late work late in the semester. So just try your best to keep up. And also remember this, in terms of grade strategy, I want you to be able to do all of the work, but I give enough points that sometimes you might be able to get the grade that you want, and maybe you had to miss an assignment. That's something that you need to kind of decide for yourself, like, because you're tackling many different things in your life right now, right? So I want to encourage you to always still try to contact me if you have any issues that you need to resolve. Okay, we were covering we went into the Far East, and now we're right back, boom, in the Middle East, and beyond that, covering Judaism. Now, I separate teaching Judaism from ancient Israel. And I do that for a reason, because as you see, ancient Israel was specifically located within a geographic area, and the temple and having sacrifices there, sacrificing animals, cutting their throats and dripping blood out for Yahweh, was a part of the ritual of this religion for the most part. And you see that in the Bible itself. And then when the temple's destroyed, that's not a practice that's being done anymore. And as I talk about in these lectures, the Jewish religion has evolved today, breaking away, really following a particular branch of Jewish thought, because there were several at the time. Let's just say starting with Jesus. And I mentioned in my lectures, but it's easy to pass over, to keep in mind that there's also Karaite Jews that will reject rabbinic teachings that are so common. So we're going to learn a lot about the Talmud, a lot. And remember that not all religious Jews practice that. And I want to also remind you that in America, if you run into somebody who is Jewish, they will often be a member of the conservative branch or reform branch of Judaism. And conservatives in Judaism are very liberal, and reform is very liberal. And what I mean is, I've been to the conservative synagogue, and there's a woman rabbi. My friend went to a Reform temple, and there was a female lesbian rabbi. Now, the Orthodox Jewish groups, the men who are really hardcore into the Talmud and reading it 8 hours a day, will reject that. But it's a little bit different in Judaism than, let's say, some of the other religions, where if a religious Orthodox Jewish man believes that 613 laws have to be practiced by everyone born of a Jewish mother, and he sees a Jewish person not practicing those things, he doesn't see them as not being Jewish. He sees them as not fully practicing the Torah as they should. So it's a little bit different than the way other religious branches. So actually, to put it this way, and I kind of go over this in some of the lectures, but I just kind of want to just do a quick clarification on some points. Unlike the other religions that we study, Judaism teaches that the majority of humanity only has to follow the laws that come down to Noah, from God to Noah. And those are called Noahite laws. That all humanity just, and there's like 3 or 4. I mean, I should have wrote this down, but it's like, don't murder, don't commit adultery, and a few other things like that, and you're good to go. Now, if you're Jewish and you're born of a Jewish mother, and so this is also something that's in the lectures, you have to be born of a Jewish mother. You are 100% Jewish, and you're obligated to follow 613 laws, according to the rabbinic branches of Judaism that are in the Bible. And so again, this is interesting, right? So according to Orthodox Judaism, if you're a Christian or a Muslim, you can be right with God if you're simply following those principles. And in actuality, and this is something that if you are curious about, I can go into more detail later if you contact me. Muslims, even though Muslims and Jews are not having very bad relations as a general rule in modern times, they really are theologically closer because they don't believe in the Trinity. And so when Muslims say they believe in one God, it's unambiguous. They believe in one God. For Jews, when they say they believe in one God, it's unambiguously one God. Christians say they believe in one God, but then they say in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. And then it's like the Jews and the Muslims are like, what? Okay, so anyhow, so then with Judaism, right? For Orthodox Judaism, it's basically you're a person that is born into this, and then you're obligated or not. Now you can convert. And as I go in my lectures, there used to be much more conversion and missionary work within the Jewish tradition than there is now, to the point that many in the Jewish tradition now don't even realize that there was a missionary tradition in the past, way back in the day. And so here's the other thing that ends up coming into being, is that as Jews became more and more secular, over time, Judaism is looked at as an ethnicity. So you'll hear somebody say, I'm Jewish, but I practice Buddhism. Technically, it'd be like saying, I'm Christian, but I practice Buddhism, and meaning that you don't believe in Christianity anymore. So that, it's kind of weird that way, but that's how it is. And so within Israel itself, many Israelis see themselves as more of an ethnicity than a religion, because many are not religious within Israel. But this is somewhat of a relatively modern development within the Jewish community. And some people will debate me on this, but I think that I have a pretty strong handle on looking at this history. And I think it's fair to say that. Needless to say, it's a debatable, kind of complicated and murky place to go into. But it's where there's a lot of confusion on the topic. So I just thought I would mention those few things. If anybody has any thoughts on this, especially if you want to talk about having a Jewish background and some thoughts on what I just said, and you want to contribute, challenge, or whatever in the comments below, I'd be glad to do that, and for the class to see some different opinions on the matter, or confirmation of some of the things that are said. I do miss the fact that, when we have a face-to-face class, that students and I as the professor can engage in these kind of discussions and get more information out that's of interest. In any case, I hope you're all having a blessed week, and make sure you get a hold of me if you have any problems or questions and all that. So we'll be in touch. I hope you enjoy this week's module.